Today we're gonna take an ice cream photo and add a horse head onto it. Hey there, my name is Ali. You can find me on Instagram at Photoshop Hustler. The link is gonna be down below. In this tutorial, we're gonna use two photos, the ice cream photo and the horse photo, to blend them together. Okay, let's get started. The first thing I did was I cut the horse. This can be done in the best way using the pen tool by just going all the way around the horse. But if you see here, it's not completely perfect because I used the quick selection tool and I just made a selection around the horse with it. Okay, this is the horse. The first thing you need to do is you place it in the right spot. Then I'm gonna add a layer mask on top of it, and then I'm gonna take a brush, make sure it's a black brush, everything is 100, and I'm just gonna start erasing. I don't want to erase the whole thing, but I'll just erase parts of it. Usually when I erase, I lower the opacity so I can see what's below. You can see the cone and everything. Okay, now I'm gonna use the lasso tool. I need to make my edges a little bit. So let's say if this is the horse, it's gonna go like this till it hits the ice cream cone. Okay, and let's delete this part. And here as well, we need to make it like it's going with the ice cream cone. Something like that. You can as well press Alt Backspace to just add black, which will erase. Now let's bring it back to 100% opacity. Okay, now it's going along with the ice cream. That's the first step. Then I'm gonna use a brush. I'm just gonna lower the opacity again so we can see. Okay, this part is, you can see here, I need to get rid of it. So I'm just gonna go all the way along as well and just Alt Backspace to remove it. And now let's take the brush again, bring it back. Okay, now this point is the important part. In this part, I will lower the opacity, something like 20%, and I'll start erasing very slowly. This will blend the two of them together. What this does, it leaves a little bit of the horse and a little bit of the ice cream, so they blend together, as you can see here. Okay, this is what I want to reach. Okay, that's the first part. The second part is, I always like to add black and white so we can see which one is brighter, which one is darker. In this case, I believe the horse is a little bit brighter than the ice cream cone. If you have problems finding which is brighter, which is darker, you can add a new layer and you can sample color and you can start clicking. As you can see, the cone is somewhere around here. Let's take an overall look. It's somewhere from here till there. Okay, let's take the horse. It's almost the same, I guess, but it has like darker parts and it has much brighter parts. So in this case, the horse needs to be darkened a little bit, so I'm gonna add a curves adjustment layer. Make sure it's linked to the horse, and I'm gonna take the highlights, pull them down a little bit, just a very small bit. Okay, let's get rid of the black and white layer now. Okay, now I need to do two things. First, I need to add some sort of texture to the horse. Second, I need to match the color. In order to match the color, I'll add a hue saturation layer, make sure it's linked below to the horse, and I'm gonna press colorize. Oh, you see we have here the horse leg. I'm gonna just get rid of it by standing on the layer mask, making selection, pressing Alt Backspace to paint black. Let's make sure there's nothing excessive here or there. Okay, so now we made the color. Let me stand on the hue saturation. It's a little bit desaturated. Let me add a little bit of color. Yeah, something like that. And it's not so reddish, it's more to the orange, I guess, because of the yellow light hitting. Originally, it's like, I believe, like purple, but because of the yellow light hitting on it, it's more moving to the orange, maybe something like that. I'll make it 5. Okay, so now the color is matched, but I guess it needs a little bit saturation. Yeah, something like that. Okay, or let's stick to 30, and let's see what's gonna happen next. I'm gonna add a new layer. This one is important. I'm gonna take the clone stamp. I need to add texture to the horse similar to the cone of the ice cream. So I'm gonna take the clone stamp tool. Let's make it to 40% and all layers. So now whenever I press Alt and click, I'm clone stamping from a point to another point. Okay, so I'm just gonna clone stamp from here. Just adding texture all over the horse from the ice cream cone. It's okay if it's not perfect, we're still gonna fix it. Just make sure it's all texture, because I'll show you if it's 100%. If I sample from here and I paint and I move around, it's gonna sample the sky. So Control Z to go back. So you must make sure you're sampling from the ice cream and you're not moving away. You sample again. And if you see when I move away what happened, it added some sky. So I'm gonna Alt click and just make sure I'm getting rid of it. Okay, so now we're covering the whole horse with the ice cream texture. I'm just gonna hold Alt and press click. So now we linked it on the horse, but now we have to change it to overlay. So if you can see, it added texture to the horse, so it blends much better. Now as you can see, this layer, it added a lot of color. So I'm gonna press Ctrl U to open the hue saturation. I'll desaturate it a little bit. Yeah, you see now it's blending much better. You see this, that's too colorful. That's much better, negative 14 or 15. Okay, I like this part, it's blending very good. But then the top part, I don't really like it. I believe it's too colorful. So I'm just gonna stand on the hue saturation layer and using a brush with a very low percentage, I'm just gonna, with black color, erase a little bit of the color I added on the top here and there. And maybe stand on this layer as well, add layer mask with the black color and low opacity, erase a little bit of the texture around the head here and there. And let's group this together. Oh, we can't group it because it's linked. So let me close them. This is the before. This is like the complete before. And this is the after. Let's group the horse. This is the horse before and after, and that's it for the tutorial. If you liked it, make sure you press the like button, subscribe to my channel. If you have any comments or any suggestions, make sure you put them in the comment section down below. Thank you.